Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is High Priestess Jamila. What the heck? And the heck? Hold on, hold on. Okay. Okay, there we go. Good morning, boys and girls. This is High Priestess Jamila. I know that kids watch YouTube, like young kids watch YouTube. And I don't know, I was moved to talk about something that could be for the kids or people that maybe they just don't know about this. It's called self esteem. What is self esteem? What is it? This is a great discussion for a Friday. A great discussion. All right, hold on. Self esteem. Let's look and see what Google says about it. Okay. Confidence, self esteem is confidence in one's own worth or abilities, self respect. Okay. In psychology, the term self esteem is used to describe a person's overall subjective sense of personal worth or value. In other words, how much you appreciate and like yourself. Okay. So, felt like this would be a great discussion for Friday, a quick discussion. Self esteem is how you feel about self, and it has nothing to do with how others feel. You can't judge your self worth based upon how other people see you or how other people feel about you. You're going to always be making a mistake if you do that. So, in other words, it doesn't matter what other people say about you, it's how you feel about yourself, right? Correct. It's not about what anybody else says about you. Anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your parents. I don't care if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your sister. I don't care if it's the kids that see you when you go to school. I don't care. It's about how you feel about self. Now, I am fully grown. I'll be 44 this summer, right? Do people turn in their 40s and all of a sudden they don't have any self esteem? No. Everybody that feels like they value themselves should do it until the day that they die. You shouldn't have to feel one way about yourself just because you start to get older, also. I think that when you have a good self esteem at a young age, you pretty much love yourself no matter how old you get. So if you have a pretty good self esteem, the older you get, you should hold on to that self esteem. It doesn't go away the older that you get. Doesn't matter if you start getting older, even if you start looking older, you should still love yourself. You should still have self esteem within yourself, no matter what somebody else's opinion is. Because some people with very low self esteem, they will try to down you. They will. And you have to pay attention to people with low self esteem. You have to be very, very careful when you are dealing with people that don't feel good about themselves because those people can't help but to diss you. They can't do it. They cannot give you your props because they have low self-esteem within themselves. You can't ever judge yourself based upon what other people think. Now, I have never in my life, because for some reason there's these older men in social media that would stop at nothing to make you feel bad about yourself. I believe that these men have low self-esteem because a lot of times you're not even asking these men what their opinion of you is. And you got to watch out for that because they will bombard you with all of this negativity, negative information that has nothing to do with you. It has to do with themselves. Okay. I don't care if it's your ex. I don't care if it's a man. Men can be notorious for trying to make women feel like crap. They do. They have a tendency to do that. You cannot judge yourself based upon what other people feel within themselves. That's just like me. I don't need for people to come out in social media and say, oh, Jamila is so beautiful. Jamila is so this. Jamila is so that. I don't need to have my look or my looks verified by anybody. I don't need to have that because people are going to see what they want to see. People are going to see within you what they see in themselves. So you cannot do that. Self esteem is about how you feel about self, period. That's what it is. A person, let me give y'all a clue. A person that is constantly out calling people ugly, this is a person that lacks self-esteem themselves. Okay. And especially if that person is a bully or somebody that is just rude and doesn't really have a lot of social skills, you really can't judge yourself based upon that person. That type of person, they self-esteem is on the floor. They self-esteem is sub-zero. These are facts. People that have low self-esteem are constantly looking for ways to down you and make themselves feel better. Period. You feel good about yourself, that's all that matters. Somebody else's opinion does not matter. And I think that this is something that many people have not been taught because I've seen men in their 40s out in social media dissing people and they don't look any better. So who are you to judge? Am I supposed to go and cry because you said something about me, sir? Are we in high school? Or are we not grown people? I can tell you something that is really, really attractive and sexy is when somebody acts mature. That's what to me, maturity is sexy. So as far as the way somebody looks or their features doesn't really matter. It's their behavior that matters to me, especially when it comes to men, because all men just look like men to me. You know, men always have a certain look about them that to the point where I don't judge whether or not men are cute or handsome really, because that's either a man is going to be cute or handsome. So you don't see me out in social media, saying who's ugly and who is cute and who is a pretty boy. It's very unattractive. People that are constantly talking about what people look like is a turnoff for me. It is because especially when that person themselves has so many flaws. Flaws that a lot of people could point out, but why even do it? That's childish. Why stay by a person for several years trying to judge the way that they look? It makes no sense to me. It doesn't. And you know what? I've had this happening to me in social media for years. I have been called ugly, old, fat, ugly. I look like a frog, and I look like this, and I look like that. But then when I go look in the mirror, I know exactly what I look like. So why would I give a damn about what people had to say about me? Like it's very frustrating when you're involved in, or when you're forced to be involved in something that is beneath you. Those behaviors be beneath you if you are actually a quality person. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a very simple minded process that some people go through. I don't know why this discussion would generate a phone call from our favorite private caller. People that it's so funny, and here's the thing, whether or not you find me attractive or not, guess what? I don't give a damn because it's called having self esteem. Nobody else can really validate your looks except for you and God, honestly. Otherwise, who cares about what other people say about how you look? And you know what? I can imagine these kids like 18 in their 20s, maybe even younger than that. They judge their esteem based upon what other people say about them. Or either people want you to feel about yourself what they feel about themselves. So when you out here in this world, you got to understand that people can be crazy, and perception can sometimes be their reality, but somebody else's opinion of you should not be based upon, you shouldn't take that as reality ever, ever. And I feel like some of the stuff that we're going through in our 40s, well, not me. I look at people from a bird's eye view because people can act crazy. People can really do and say some crazy things that make no sense. Why should you feel one way about it when other people's opinions should not matter to you? Should matter. I think men would love for us to, not men, I'm sorry, little boys in grown men's bodies. They would love for every woman to judge their looks based upon their opinion. No, uh-uh. You don't judge your looks based upon somebody's opinion of the way you look. Who does that? I mean, the way these people will describe the way you look, fingers are growing out of your face, legs and arms are growing out of your forehead. People are just crazy. people people have some people have, and you know what? I believe that it's an actual, hey JT, I believe it's an actual mental illness personally. Or sometimes people that complete actions that I guess is supposed to mess with your self esteem. I'm sorry. I'm validated every day when I wake up in the morning. I'm validated every single second of the day. There's never going to be a point or a moment throughout my day where I'm going to feel bad about myself. For what? For what? Do I need to have some jackass in social media go and talk about another woman to make me feel better? No, I don't. No, I don't. Why? Because I feel good about myself. I wouldn't even waste air. That's a waste of airtime. Because if you don't have self-esteem, it don't matter what somebody else does. You're going to wake up in the morning feeling like crap. You're going to feel like crap about yourself. And having self-esteem has nothing to do with the way a person looks. It does have a lot to do with self-acceptance. However God made me, I love it. I would never change it. I would never change the way that I look based upon somebody else's opinion, but so many people do. So many people are deeply disturbed if somebody would call them, ugly or whatever. They would cry themselves to sleep at night based upon somebody saying either that they're pretty or ugly. You got to love yourself. At the end of the day, you have to love yourself. I think yesterday I got sick. I don't know why I got sick yesterday. I felt fine before I went live. I think it was probably a lot of people that were triggered because I've got a group of people that follow me around the internet and they want me to feel ugly. They do. They don't want me to have any self-esteem. Now, these people, I didn't run into them until I was in my 30s. Perhaps if I would have, I don't know, been raised by these people, or raised by the same people that raised him, perhaps I would have some sort of issue with my self worth or self esteem. But if you're 37 years old, you pretty much know who you are. You pretty much have lived life. Somebody saying something to you is not going to matter. Yeah, thank you. I do feel a lot better, but I am a little tired. I am a little tired. I have a lot that's constantly being put on me, and I keep going because what's the point? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my spirits wanted me to talk about that today. A lot of these boys, these little boys out here that are supposed to be men, they'll do things, I guess, that is supposed, I didn't know that it was supposed to kill your self esteem. Don't let nobody do that to you, especially if you a younger person. Start now loving, valuing, and appreciating yourself. Start doing it now. And people that I'm gonna tell y'all something. People that, and this is the truth. People that are constantly calling people ugly are trying to make people feel bad about themselves. You know that those people actually deep down that's how they feel about themselves. Because when have you ever asked these people to judge you? Never. But a person that just has to come out the gates disrespecting you, obviously they got a problem within themselves. And it doesn't have to be your problem. Let it be their problem. I can tell you that for me, a person being humble, that to me is sexy. People that can be humble. Somebody loud, not obnoxious, and especially when it comes to men, you're a complete turn off to me if you expect women to judge themselves based upon how you feel. That to me, because I personally feel that a lot of these men, you need to value all women. And then some of them have like secret things that are going on with them to where a woman has to be a certain way. You know what I'm saying? That's just like there's this one dude that he want me to feel bad about myself just because I'm 40. He want me to feel bad about myself just because I'm an older woman. That's funny to me. That it's funny to me. It really is. I'm not trying to like laugh in his face or anything, but it's just funny to me because I've never ever heard of that. I've never heard of younger women being beautiful, but then when you get older, you just all of a sudden become ugly. I've never ever heard of that, like ever in my life. If a person is pretty, they just pretty. If a person is beautiful, they just beautiful. Don't matter what race they are, don't matter how old they are. It don't matter what their religion is, what their familial status is, you know. It doesn't matter. You supposed to love yourself no matter what. That's just like women who have never gotten married. I know that I could have gotten married. It's not every woman's goal in life. It's not, especially of the new age. You know, it's kind of like it's stupid. You know, men, period. And this is what I'm talking about with patriarchal men. They now want us older women to judge ourselves based upon the decisions that we made. Based upon the decisions that we made. For example, having children out of wedlock or not being married to the father of our children. We are supposed to now, I guess, feel bad about ourselves. And what do we do? Do we just stop raising our children? What are we supposed to do? We just supposed to die? Are we supposed to die now? It's very bizarre. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I never would have thought, but the Black community actually absorbed every single problem in society. If you notice, Black people have now absorbed that racism, sexism, classism. Why would you absorb that? Why would you take on the trash of our society? Those are trash values that need to be thrown away because we all know that everybody's story is different. Nobody's cookie cutter. There's no cookie cutter people in this world. There's no robots in this world. There's none. We're all different. We were all meant to have different experiences for different purposes. For some reason, people thought, oh, just because you got kids, I can judge you. Those people, I feel sorry for those people. You can't even enjoy the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees if you a person like that. So feel good about yourself no matter what. That's how I feel. Whatever it is that you did throughout your life, you had to do what you had to do because that's your life. Period. If I would have got married in my 20s, I would have lost my husband just recently. If I would have married that man because he just passed away, rest in peace. You know, that was one of his policies, but I left him because he tried to keep me by messing with my self-esteem. A man that's trying to keep you by messing with your self-esteem, you got to get away from him. He's an abuser. This is probably a man that ain't even really into women. Men that are constantly downing women, they're not really into women. They may want to either be a woman, especially if they're competing with a woman, or if they're trying to go out of their way to make a woman feel bad about herself. That's not somebody that's working with a full deck anyway. So be careful out there. Okay. And that goes for men too. Men need to have self esteem. Men need to feel good about themselves. And having self esteem is not somebody degrading you and then you feeling the need to go and degrade somebody else. Nobody should ever have to do that. In fact, God says to not do that. You know what? If somebody degrades you or downs you, you should go and you should just stare in the mirror and for as long as it takes and love yourself. You don't go back and try to degrade or down Jamila. Like I've been everybody's source of self-esteem of supply. They feel bad about themselves and then they go live and they constantly try to degrade Jamila. That's what makes them feel better about themselves. That's an unhealthy way of doing it. You have to stare in that mirror and you have to love and accept yourself. That way you don't have to come out in social media and degrade Jamila because Jamila already know what she looked like. Okay, I already know what I look like. I'm not deformed. I ain't scaring nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy the way these men want you to women too. There's women out there that have self-esteem issues. Very bad. And you shouldn't have low self-esteem. You should love even if Jamila says something bad about you because you done pissed me off, that it doesn't matter. The reason why I said that about you is because you were trying to make me feel bad about myself. So I threw it back at you, right back at you. But in reality, doesn't matter what I say. You should love yourself every day, whether or not you're wearing makeup, whether or not you may not look your best that day. You should still love yourself no matter what. This is creating a real problem. This is holding people back from their destiny and from their truth and from their lives. Being stuck on debating back and forth or putting up funny pictures of Jamila to make Jamila look ugly. But in reality, people can come right over here and see what I look like. Altering photos, getting some weird person to call me ugly. Honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is a sign that your self esteem is low and you need to raise the bar, raise it up, and love and appreciate yourself. This is why people go and get those plastic surgeries and stuff. And I've seen people go and get plastic surgery that look perfectly fine. And y'all remember that actress that played Baby in Dirty Dancing? It was nothing wrong with that woman's nose. In fact, it was a signature of who she was. She went and got a nose job after that movie. And I believe that there was an interview where she felt like getting that nose job actually ruined her career and her life because it was no longer her anymore. It was like a totally different person. And people should love themselves no matter what they look like because guess what? God made you that way. And let me tell you something. I don't care how unattractive you feel like you are if you're a teenager. Kids go through that as teens and maybe in your 20s. But let me tell you something, when it comes to love, no matter what you look like, there's going to be somebody. There's probably going to be a lot of people out there that love you no matter what you think you look like. There is somebody for everybody in this world, especially if you got like an ex and the ex was like a weirdo. When you really think about it, your exes that try to mess with your self esteem, they're weird. They're weird. They're self conscious. They are very self conscious about themselves. They are. And as a woman, you can't say, oh, I feel bad about myself because of what this person said to me. No, that person said that to you because they are projecting how they feel about themselves, period. You treat others the way you feel about self. That's just the reality of it. And as soon as people start accepting this, they'll do better. Those people that are constantly putting other people down, talking about their looks, which they should be embarrassed. That's an embarrassment. That means that I'm sorry, these men out here that put women's pictures up and call them ugly. Do you really believe that you're ugly just because of what they said about you? If you do, then you need to really think twice. You need to think deeply and long and hard about how you should love yourself more, no matter what you look like. And that's the truth. Because people that do that, they hate themselves for one reason or the other. So that's their problem. That's their issue. Love yourself, live your life. That person is always going to have a negative opinion about you, probably. Nothing you can do to change it. Love yourself and live your life. And I feel bad for some people that are in social media. I feel like the last 6 years in social media, I've wasted a lot of my life. I really do. Because at the end of the day, those people are going to feel the way that they feel about you no matter what. So why waste your precious time that God has given you on this earth wrapped up in how somebody, a stranger, feels about you in social media? I mean, I have seen people on here that had birth defects on their faces or in their bodies, and people still love them. So if those, and think about it. If somebody with a birth defect or something obviously, different about them and they can find love, why would you let somebody convince you when you are seemingly normal? Why would you let that person mess with your self-worth or self-esteem? I wouldn't even want to listen to it. It's not interesting. There's nothing interesting about a man judging women's looks. In fact, to be honest with you, yesterday I realized that I feel that those people ain't even who they say they are. Those people ain't even who they say they are. Okay. Hey, William Nelson. Hello. So yeah, I never would have thought that I would have to have this discussion in my 40s, but I think it's important to let the youth know. Let the youth know because that's messed up. Like, yeah, hey, minimalistic life. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how people and you know what? I feel bad for even doing that or accusing people of being jealous of me, you know what I'm saying, or envying me. Who cares? Those are the worst. Like it just but you can become influenced by very negative people. You can fall under that negative I call it the negosphere. It's called the negasphere, where you just constantly just live life. You know what I'm saying? It's so weird. It's so weird. And it's not based upon anything that's true. What's true is how God feels about you and how you feel about yourself. That is the only thing that exists in this world. Otherwise, everything else is just somebody else's low self esteem. Somebody tries to use their YouTube channel every day to make you feel bad about yourself. What do you think that they're doing? They're trying to manipulate you. Don't let people manipulate you like that. And This grown man online calling Jamila ugly shouldn't do anything good for it. Shouldn't do anything for your self-esteem. It shouldn't. Men would love for women to be that stupid. They would love for all of us to be that ignorant because that would be their cheap way, their cheap way of making you feel good. But in reality, men are supposed to make you feel good in other ways. If he's a real man, he knows how to make you feel good in other ways. And it shouldn't be acting like a confused child in social media. It shouldn't be. All of that behavior should be beneath you. All of it. You shouldn't give a damn about any of it. Okay. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you, minimalistic life. All right, that's it. That's all that I can say about this particular subject. Have a happy Friday, y'all. And today would be a good day for people to feel good about themselves. Start feeling better about self. What I want y'all to do is to find 3 things about yourself today that is good and thank God for it. Okay. Thank God for the things that are good. Also, I want to come and I want to talk to y'all about the long breasts versus short breasts. I had no idea that breasts were short unless they were smaller breasts. I want to talk about that because that's just weird to me. I've seen many women's bodies. If you go and you look up women's bodies, breasts tend to be long. So I want to talk about that because there's some people that I don't know where they got that from. I don't know if that's a if that's an attack on a woman's natural body. I guess women are supposed to all go out and get breast implants or reconstructive surgery because I guess there's something seemingly wrong with those women and their bodies. And I want to talk about that a little bit later, but that'll be for later. Okay. I will see y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Love and light.